Find out what's making you sick and how to heal. Anthony William is the medical medium.
Hello, I'm Anthony William, and you're listening to the Medical Medium Radio Show, where each week I talk about the most advanced healing information and secrets about health, much of which is not found anywhere else and is decades ahead of what's out there now, and I'm serious about that. I really am, because you got to fasten your seatbelts. You got to put your safety belt on this show, because this is really serious what we're talking about. We're really going in to some things that you just need to know. So just, stay tuned for this. I've always said, who has 10 or 20 or 30 years to wait for answers or information to protect your family? Someone said to me the other day, they said, you keep on talking about this whole family thing. Like, it's all about, you're always saying it's all about protecting your family and your friends or whatever, and I've never heard that before, they said to me. I go, yeah, it's about protecting your family. It's about protecting you, your family, your friends, your loved ones. It's about making sure you have information. It's about you becoming an expert for real, though. Like, for real, an expert. Meaning, you don't need to do 8 years of medical school to know information. It just isn't even out there. It doesn't even exist. You need to know this information so you become that expert. And so you can protect your family, protect your friends, and be there. And have that information. So this person said, well, it's all about, you're just all about into protecting family, and that's something I haven't heard before. Yeah, that's right. Because you haven't heard it before. And you're not going to hear it out there because it's here. It's right here. It's really important that we look out for our loved ones and we look out for, it's not just ourselves. It's about for anybody around us having that information. You name it, it's important. So today's show is about how to protect yourself and your family and loved ones and friends from the Unforgiving Four. The Unforgiving Four. What is the Unforgiving Four? The Unforgiving Four are four things, they're groups, but they're four things that are in our way every day, keeping us from getting healthy, keeping us from staying healthy, keeping us from being able to protect ourselves. You name it, that's the Unforgiving Four, and we're going into that today. So don't miss that. If you just logged on, you don't miss this show, because this show is for you, and it really matters. It really, really matters. When I was younger, and I know you guys heard this before. When I was younger, I think it was around 7, 8 years old, somewhere around there, 7, 8, 9 years old. In that realm, I had a couple of things hit me, and one was, why should I care? Why should I care about anybody? Why should I even care? Why bother? That's what was hitting me. And I was telling Spirit, because I was already talking to Spirit since age 4, and I was saying to Spirit, why do I have to care? Who cares about everybody being sick or what's wrong with them or what's going on? Why do I even need to care? And I'm 8 years old. What does it matter? And Spirit said, you have to care. You have to know that now. You have to care about others and what they're going through and what's happening in their lives and what they're suffering from and what they're struggling from, what they've been through. You have to care. It matters. It matters. The work you do down here matters, and you have to care. And I clicked on the care button. And I said, all right. I said, okay. I clicked it on. I mean, it was there already, but I was getting irritable because I was a child that was hearing a voice perfectly clear, which was Spirit, and Spirit was telling me everything. And it was really hard to deal with. And it was seeing every illness in people, and you name it. And, seeing people that had brain tumors, seeing people that had all kinds of different problems. It was, always coming through. People that had cancer, it was always coming through. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to care anymore. This is just too much. And Spirit said, you have to care. And so when it comes down to the Unforgiving Four, which we're talking about today, you guys, it's important to know what is in our way. What is in your way? What is in your way of healing, okay? And what's in all of our ways of healing, like in the way. And so we're going to talk about all that. Hey, Go to medicalmedium.com if you ever get a chance, if you're interested in going to any of the events. Check it out. The whole bit. Got one coming up real shortly. It's coming up literally. It's around the corner. And so if you get a chance, get down there. We're doing the light blast. It's when Spirit sends light literally from heaven right on down on the crown of everybody's head, and it rushes through their body. And it's a rush. It's a rush. And I say, right after it, after the light blast, I say, no operating heavy machinery for a few minutes after that light blast, because it is really intense. It's there to ignite the healing process, to lift people up, to ignite the healing process. What it does is that light rushes through the body and builds up the immune system. It builds up the immune system, the lymphocytes, the basophils, the monocytes, the neutrophils, the platelets. It just goes through the body, and it starts to get rid of any kind of darkness, any kind of bugs in people's bodies and toxins, and it helps to ignite. It's the ignition of healing, and that's what we're doing. I don't care what it takes, how we're going to do it, how we do it. I make sure I'm there, and I make sure Spirit and I get it done. And so everybody gets that light blast. And that's what I'm saving my reserves up right now for. I know what it's going to take. I know what it's going to take to get on that stage and do it. I'm saving my reserves. And Spirit and I are going to do that and make sure it happens. So I'm really looking forward to that. I can't wait to check that out. And, of course, we do more. I do the live readings on stage. And that's really fun. It's really fun. And all of that. And don't worry if I look a little funny on the stage. If you do get down there, it's because by the time I get through those readings, and I'm getting readings on everybody that's just automatically coming in as Spirit's giving me that information, and I start going what's called snowblind. I start losing my sight. Don't worry. It's just fun, and it's great. And it's great. It's great. So that's something about me. Life-Changing Foods book. Check it out. It's basically about to come out. Just grab yourself a copy, and get your gifts. Get your new gifts. Get your free gifts with the Life-Changing Foods book. Just you can instantly get the gifts that we offer by just ordering a copy right now, and then you could get those. Don't miss out on that. Okay, because that's really great. And that book is packed, and you're not going to be disappointed. If you're disappointed, I want to know personally, because I really don't think you're going to be. When you open it up, you're going to say, He did not let us down. He did not let us down. He said He wasn't going to, and He didn't let us down. This book is, and when you open it up, you're not going to say, okay, this is just a rag that's got a couple of tidbits in it, and He let us down. You're not going to do that. When you open it, you're going to be like, oh my God, I see His blood, sweat, and tears, and it is definitely is helping. And when you start reading that and seeing what's in it, you're going to be like, okay, no, He's got our back. He's got our back. And one way I got your back is we're talking about the Unforgiving Four, and that's what we're doing today. Hey, if this is the first time you've logged into the show and you're like, what is he talking about? Because all of this seems different. Because it is. It's not in any other show. Anything I've ever done is not in any other show. I don't care how many copycats or whatever's going on out there. It's not what we got here. So if you just logged in, give it a minute and take your time so I can help. So I can help you heal, get the information you need so you can help others. And become that expert. And become that health expert. Become all that kind of, the whole thing. And so stay tuned. It started with a gift at age 4 for me. I diagnosed my grandmother of lung cancer in Spirit. I heard Spirit for the first time. I woke up that morning and heard Spirit perfectly clear in my ear. And I've been doing this ever since. So anyway, look, and as I've always said before, we don't have 10 or 20 or 30 years to wait for answers. So let's start the healing now. Let's learn how to protect ourselves from the Unforgiving Four. Yeah, you heard me, the Unforgiving Four. So we're on it. So what is this, the Unforgiving Four? What am I talking about? I mean, some of you might know already. I've hinted. I've talked about it. I've said something about it. I think I've even put some stuff about out there, maybe in the newsletter or something. So some of you probably gotten it. You know that. But, a lot of you may not have heard about the Unforgiving Four. The Unforgiving Four is what Spirit calls this group of things that get in our way. They interfere with our lives. They poison us. They poison us. They inhibit us from healing. They stop us from healing, or try to. And they wreak havoc. And they're basically a threat. They're basically a deception, a threat, a deceptive threat. You know, here's the deal. You know, when we grow up, it's all about, it's all about safety. When we're a child, it's all about safety. Your parents hold your hand. I talked about this before. They hold your hand before you cross the street, right? I mean, that's the goal. In school, there's these different monitors in school. They look after you. There's playground monitors. There's, or whatever. There's just, and now there's security in schools. And when you start getting older and then you get insurance, you get car insurance. You get all the different insurances. You're always trying to protect yourself. You're always doing all these things. It's all about protection on so many levels we inherently talk about and we know about in our lives. But what about, and these are all things we can see, protecting ourselves from anything we can see. So if a bus is going down the road and we don't want to get in the way of it, we move away. Okay, or our parent or guardian pulls us away from that bus so we don't get hit. All right? Or, angels are trying to protect us all the time too, and they might even, if they have a chance, can pull us away from a tragedy. But it's always things we can see. You can see it all. You got to be careful. You got to be careful if you're going swimming that you're not in a too rough of a water patch or too deep, whatever it is. It's things we can see no matter what. But what about the things you can't see? What about the things we don't hear about, talk about much or talk about at all because you can't see it? What about those things? Well, they exist. And that's what we're covering. Because it's all about what you see in this world. It's all about gotta see it to believe it. Gotta see it to believe it. I'm not gonna believe it unless I see it, right? It's all about what you can see. Oh, I'll believe it if I see it. Right? Is that what happens? Well, that's what there's a funny thing, it just reminded me. That's what happens when people come to the event and they never seen what I've done before, what Spirit does before. I can't take any credit for it. That's what Spirit does. I've learned my lesson. I tried to take credit for it years ago. You heard the story. You heard the story many times. I even told the story in my book, in the Medical Medium book, the first book. And, I can't take any of the credit. I've learned my lesson. I've learned it well. But, when people go to the live event and they see me do my work on the stage where Spirit, or our work, Spirit and I, our work, where Spirit's telling me what's going on with each person and what's wrong with them and what's inside, what kind of illness they're dealing with, you name it. And Spirit's doing it for me, and I'm doing that. And then people who have gone there that maybe have never seen or heard about this, but they go, they hear about the event and they come, and they walk out, and they're like, I don't know how he did that. I don't know how it was possible, but yes, I believe it because I've seen it. And so that's the kind of world we live in. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that because we like to see things in order to believe them. And the problem is, with mystery illness, you guys, with mystery illness, the problem is that we can't see it. We can't see it. So when you're sick, you get told, well, hey, you're fine. You look fine. Yeah, you're laying in your bed. You're catatonic, but you look fine, and you're probably making it up because we can't see it. The doctor can't see it on the blood test. No one can see it. No one cares because they can't see it. So you just go off on your merry way, faker. You faker, right? That's what I've heard people tell me. They've been called fakers. Oh, that makes me so upset. That's why I got to laugh about it, because if I don't, I'm going to just be so, disheartened by it and it's saddened by it. And And it's already saddening as it is. Because when I hear it, I get like welled up inside, and I get emotional about it because it breaks my heart if someone's called a faker when they're really sick. And the world's getting a little better. We're finally getting to a place, the internet and a lot of practitioners are looking out. Practitioners are looking out for people more, and all these different things are happening. We're finally getting to a point where, we're not told we're faking it anymore in many aspects of medicine, but that's not entirely true because there's still some leftovers. And that's the whole thing. The process of planet stress is, it just, if someone doesn't experience it themselves, they think it doesn't exist. If they don't experience it themselves, they think it doesn't exist. That's planet Earth. That's planet Earth. Here on planet Earth, I'm sorry to say, and I'm sure you know, and you're sure you lived it, I'm sure you've seen it, I'm sure you name it. If someone doesn't see it, then they don't believe it. You get called a faker because you're sick. Mommies that can't get out of bed and take care of their kids. They can't find anything on the testing. And then the problem is even if they go to a good doctor and the doctor says, yeah, you're sick, so they get validated with the wrong illness in the wrong direction. That's still happening. And we're trying to change that. The Medical Medium show and the books and everything, we're trying to change that. So, but the bottom line is, it's a see it to believe it world, right? So, if there's this unforgiving four, no one sees it, then who's going to believe it? And then we just get these different tags and labels. And I want to go over a couple of things. I've done this before, but it applies here so much that I can't not do it and just ignore it. But autoimmune, being told we have autoimmune because medical research and medical science doesn't know what's causing your symptoms or your illness is a tragedy. Telling us that our body's attacking itself. This is the first time you logged on to this. You don't know anything about me. You better believe it. You better know right now. And I'm just saying this for your own health and well-being and your friends and your families. That your body doesn't attack itself. You have to trust me on this. And I even hate saying trust me on this because we're not even allowed to say this in this world right now because there's a whole thing going on out there. If you say trust me, then people are like, oh, I've heard that. Don't want to trust you, but you better trust me, because I'm telling you right now, your body does not attack itself. It stands behind you. It works for you. It won't hurt you. It's there helping you, and medical research and medical science has no clue about this yet, including alternative medicine. The best alternative medicine books about autoimmune literally are rags and need to be thrown in the garbage because they say the foundation is still your body's attacking itself. They haven't even left that simple, mistake or that great mistake. They haven't even left the great mistake yet of knowing that your body's not attacking itself. Okay? And I'm giving you that information now because it's important, because we're going into the Unforgiving Four, and there's four big things that are causing the problems and in completely tricking out the medical research and medical science world, so they turn the whole thing around on you, telling you that your body's attacking itself when it's not. Okay? Do you see why I'm so serious about this? Did you put your seatbelts on? You better put your seatbelts on, and you better not be driving an antique, a 1960, Cadillac that has no, or a 1955 Buick, or something that doesn't have a headrest on the back like the old days. So when you got hit from behind, your head wrenched back and you broke your neck on one little bumper, one little fender bender. So no antiques. Make sure you're in some safe cars. But you got to know something. You got to know something. The body doesn't attack itself. It's not there going against you. It's because the Unforgiving Four is on our butts. Okay? It's on our butts. And it's interfering with our lives. And it's tricking out medical research and medical science so that they put the blame on you. It's so critical to know this. We're going to get into these Unforgiving Four. But you have to have the foundation. You have to have a foundation. And the problem is in alternative medicine, I like conventional medicine, I like alternative medicine, but I work for you. So I don't take sides. And I don't fall into their false belief systems, like the body attacking itself, because I have spirit telling me what's really going on with people. Because we work for you. That's who I work for. I get up in the morning, and you know what? I work for God, but God says, if you're going to work for me, guess who you're going to be helping? You're going to be helping everybody else. So technically, yes, I'm helping you. I'm working for you. And I got to watch your back. If I don't watch your back, then, then what? Then you're going to think your body's attacking itself. That's what. So it's important to know that research in science hasn't discovered what's causing problems. And then alternative medicine, God-loving, absolutely. Thank God for any of our doctors, alternative and conventional medicine, but alternative medicine, some of the best trendy, literature that's out there, books that are out there, is still antiques. It's old time. It's still old. I don't care what fancy talk is in there about gut biome and about the whole thing with probiotics and about mycotoxins. I don't care what's in there. If they still think your body's attacking itself and those are just triggers, then it's behind. Because I'm going to give you today what's causing all our trouble. Another thing is mystery illness. We're told that all your different ailments, your symptoms, your conditions are not mystery. We're told that they're not mystery, that they've been figured out. If they've been figured out, then why are we still sick? Why are 300 million Americans with symptoms and sick right now if we figured it out? So they deem mystery illness just for like a handful of rare cases, once a year, once every 3 years. Like just a few people fell down with a fever somewhere, or some children were sick and because of some polluted pond water or something, and it's just okay. It's a mystery illness. We're trying to figure it out. They're trying to troubleshoot it. Here's the thing: it's all mystery. That's chronic illness related, and what's behind all the mystery are the unforgiving four. Once again, I'm going back to that because that's what we're on today. And then it's all in your head. It's another thing. Like you created it. It's your fault. You did it. You manifested your illness. That's not true. That's not true. Don't believe that either. You're a good person. You didn't create it. The unforgiving four is what creates it. So you need to know that. It's so important to know. Okay, it doesn't mean we can't be our own trigger sometimes when we get hit with things and, we get breakups in relationships and it hurts our heart so bad and we're so upset. That's a trigger. It's an emotional trigger. But we have to be able to experience emotion. We have to be able to feel emotion, so we can't be blamed for feeling emotion and having it kind of weaken us a little bit, because that's just life. The idea is to be able to feel all the emotion you want, whether it's good or bad, and survive it. And the unforgiving four is responsible for why we have a hard time, why we're triggered by more things, because the unforgiving four is behind it all. So when you go through a hard time, you can feel sick afterwards, and then we blame ourselves when it's not ourselves, because it's the unforgiving four. See how it works? Very important. And then here's a big one. I just have to tell you. Genetics, genes. We're told it's our genes. We're told it's your genes now. That's why you're sick. It's your genes. You got faulty genes. You're a faulty person. That's demented, because it's not accurate. And it's destructive and poisonous. These things are like weeds. They're like weeds of poison in a beautiful garden, and these are like weeds of poison that are taking over. And they're going to hurt you, because it's not genetics that is why you're sick or feeling sick. Research and science doesn't know it's the unforgiving four. And that's what it is. Not genetics. Our genes didn't go bad in the last 20 years. That's why literally alone half the U.S. is more sick than meaning a whole half more of the U.S. is more sick than it was 20 years ago. We're in 300 million Americans with symptoms. That didn't exist years ago. I promise you that didn't exist. The American dream was you lived your life, you did this, you did that, you got older, here's what you did. And sure, you could have health problems along the way. They always existed, but nothing like they are today. We're struggling young and younger and younger and younger. And it's not genetics. It's the Unforgiving Four. So let's talk about that part now. Let's talk about it. The first part of the Unforgiving Four is the viral explosion. The viral explosion. Viruses. Understand that viruses have been in our way, especially in the last 100 years, but now in the last 30 years, in our way, like never before in history, they're in our way. Just take the Epstein-Barr virus, which for the first time ever, I brought to everybody's attention about what the Epstein-Barr does, what symptoms it creates, that alone. From fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, multiple sclerosis, rheumatoid arthritis, these are all varieties of Epstein-Barr and different varieties of Epstein-Barr, tingles and numbness, blurry eyes, brain fog, ringing in the ears, vertigo, dizziness, aches and pains, severe fatigue, is all Epstein-Barr related, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, and the list goes on and on and on. All from Epstein-Barr varieties alone that are exploding, and you're becoming the expert, and you're healing from them because we're helping everybody, we're teaching everybody, and we're helping everybody, so everybody learns from it. We all get better together. And then there's other viruses too. There's the shingles family that causes all the other stuff going on. Burning mouth, burning tongue syndrome. I'm burning, vaginal area, burning legs, burning feet, neuropathy in the feet and legs, sciatica, trigeminal neuropathy, trigeminal nerve problems. All these things are shingles, Bell's palsy, droopy eyes, all of that is the shingles virus. And the shingles does even more, but these are the things that I'm talking about. And then there's other viruses too, like HHV6, HHV7, the undiscovered HHV 9, 10, 11, 12 that Spirit knows about, and they're in our way. They create different types of heart problems, myocarditis, endocarditis, kidney problems, kidney failure, all the different problems. And these viruses exist. It's part of the Unforgiving Four, and everybody wants to ignore them. And now that we're also bringing it to light, some leaders are taking the information Spirit brought, and they're using it for their own game, for acclaim and notoriety, but skewing the information so it ends up not helping people anyway. So thank God I have you guys behind me, because you guys are taking the information, and trust in you. And I trust that you guys, know the source, and I trust that you guys know it's never been talked about out there, and I trust that you guys know, how to spread the information wisely and help others whenever you can over the years and over the time, and I thank you for it, okay? Because you guys are the real deal. So here's the deal. We got the viral explosion. There's always been bacteria. Bacteria causes problems. We talk about that in the different shows. We talked about it in the strep show. We talk about it in the streptococcus show. We talk about it in the different shows that bacteria is a problem. We know that. But the viral explosion is why we're dealing what we're dealing. It's why mommies lay in bed and can't function, and they got 3 kids they can't feed. And, it's literally like that kind of thing all the time out there now. It's why we got the fatigue. We got the mysterious weight gain. It's why we have the thyroid problems. And it's why people got the brain fog and the memory loss. And they're just having difficult times. And they have all the different neurological symptoms. It's the viral explosion. And what we're about is about cleaning that up and getting that better. In Life-Changing Foods, I talk about the Unforgiving Four in detail. And I talk about all the foods to help eradicate the Unforgiving Four in your life. So when you go through there, and what I meant, you're not going to be disappointed. When you go through there, you're going to see the Unforgiving Four in detail. And then you're going to know how to get rid of the unforgiving four throughout that book so that you can protect your family and your loved ones and yourself. It's that serious. So wait till that's in your hand. Because you're going to be happy about it. The next part of the unforgiving four, the next part is radiation. Radiation. We're not looking at radiation. We ignore it. We ignore its existence. It's falling out of the sky. And that's okay. Same with the viruses. You have to understand, all this is okay because we got answers. We got ways to protect ourselves. We got ways to heal. Now, if I just try to play the positive crap talk, where that this stuff doesn't really exist, and I just want to talk about, hey, how you can turn your life around in 3 great steps, and not tell you the truth, not tell you really what's going on, not tell you what's happening, that would be the worst. That would be insulting. That would be totally insulting to you. I'm going to tell you what's wrong out there, because it's there. Whether I like it or not, or you like it or not, it's there. It's in your way. And I got to protect you so you get out of your symptoms, you get out of your illnesses, so you get better. So just bear with me while I talk about radiation a little bit. It's fallen out of the sky, okay, from literally World War II. Never mind Fukushima, which is falling out of the sky because of Fukushima too. It's starting to, you name it, Chernobyl, you name it, it's been falling out of the sky. And it still is. And it's in our way, and it's not just that. Our forefathers, our family, like our past relatives that we come from, were saturated in radiation as well during the first X-rays. During the birth of the X-rays, when we were like, oh my God, this is exciting. Hop in front of this machine, get completely radiated from head to toe, where you see a complete skeleton, you see a complete skeleton up against the screen, the flat screen that's in front of the person, and you just slam them with tons of radiation. And women were getting radiation treatments to their faces. And they were getting severe radiation burns, because they were getting radiation treatments. And the old dental work, the radiation, it shot right into everybody's neck and head. It was all in the past. But the problem is it gets passed down because it lasts 1,000,000 years. And it's in our forefathers. Then we're conceived, we're birthed, we have it. It's just down the line, from all the way back, down the line, since radiation was even figured out and discovered. Now, we could just ignore it and forget about it and not realize it's breaking down our immune system, and we're going to fix it. There's people that come to me and say, I've been to every doctor, I've been everywhere. Why is my immune system still breaking down? I've seen everybody. I've paid $500,000, $500,000 to travel around the globe and around the world to try to fix my immune system, and it hasn't happened. And Spirit will be like, you got some radiation, because your forefathers were saturated with it and died early because of it. And they're like, oh my God. Yeah, but we can fix it. We can get it out. We can get it out with the right foods. The power of the foods can get it out if you know what you're using and know what you're doing. We can get it out of the body. It's that simple, but it takes a little bit of work, it takes a little bit of food, it takes a little bit of time, a little bit of energy, but you can do it. But the radiation is falling out of the sky. It's definitely hindering us. It's landing on our food sources, and that's okay, because food gets rid of it and can cancel it out. The right kind of foods can get rid of it and cancel it out. We can pull old radiation out of us that's been in there for a century from our forefathers, and it can be done. Okay, that's part of the Unforgiving Four. Next part of the Unforgiving Four, toxic heavy metals. Yeah, toxic heavy metals, mercury. We have mercury in us that's 1,000 years old. It's been mined out of mines 1,000 years ago, and it stays in our line. It's not genetics, everybody. I'm sorry to say it. I don't mean to break the hearts of the leaders that are taking the genetic movement where they are, and the leaders that think that all of our problems are genes. I'm sorry that all their funding and all their hard work is not for the right thing, I'm sorry, that's not my fault. So I just have to tell you the truth. I can't protect them. I have to protect you. And it's not genes. It's mercury passed down generation after generation, hundreds of years of mercury. From when our forefathers were drinking mercury elixirs, just in the 1800s, when all the medical universities were closing down because nobody went to doctors anymore in the 1850s, in the 1840s, in the 1860s. No one went to doctors anymore. That's how alternative healers were birthed. They were birthed out of the mercury bomb of the 19th century. When the conventional medical world just gave you a big glass of mercury when you went to the doctor's office. Didn't matter who you were. When you left the doctor's office, you were raging mad. Insanity occurred. You went home and your life was over. Your family's life was over. If you were a working father and you were dependent on and you went to the doctor and drank a big glass of mercury solution, came home, your wife would be just mortified. And that was it. You weren't going to work the next day. Bills weren't paid. Families crashed. And that happened because of the mercury elixirs. We still have that in our bloodline. It's not genetics. We got the mercury in our bloodline. See how it works? Sometimes going all the way back hundreds of years. Mercury. All dating back to the mercury man. And it's mercury. It's just everywhere. It's in our water. It's in the ocean. It's just everywhere. It's all over the place. So the point is that mercury is responsible for so many things. Depression. Mercury is responsible for anxiety. It feeds Epstein-Barr. It feeds the viral explosion. They work together, the heavy metals, and all toxic heavy metals. And they feed the viral explosion, working together to help take us down. But guess what? It won't take us down. I'm telling you, my friend. I'm telling you, folks, it won't take us down because we have a way to fight it, clean it out. I talked about the frozen wild blueberries removes heavy metals. I talk about the heavy metal detox. Check out my heavy metal detox. Check it out. It's in book 1, the heavy metal detox from Spirit, to remove that heavy metal out of your system so you can get rid of your symptoms that correlate with the viral explosion. You can get rid of that out of your body. Okay? And I'm going to give you some tips. First of all, if you get heavy metal tested and it shows really low, doesn't mean it's not really high, because they can't test inside your nervous system. They can't test to see how much mercury you have in your nervous system. This is a mistake made all the time. Yeah, Spirit told one person that I know a while back, Spirit told one person, you're really high in heavy metal. You're high in mercury. That's why you're feeling like you're feeling. And they're like, well, I don't believe you because I had a test, and the test said I was low. First of all, the test for heavy metals is not even accurate because it cannot test how much heavy metal it's inside deep in an organ or inside the central nervous system or inside your brain. It can only test if you've been freshly exposed to heavy metal in the bloodstream. That means you would have had to eat a can of tuna the day you got the blood test, so the can of tuna would leach the mercury into your bloodstream the day of your blood test or the day before your blood test to show up a little bit of mercury. A little bit. And nobody knows that information, but you know it now. You know it now because of Spirit. And that's how it works. So we get the toxic heavy metals. They go inside our liver. They're inside our brain. They're deep in our system. And mercury's a big, big piece of it all. Never mind the alloy. The alloy that occurs. You guys, what happens is when they make steel, they mix it with metals. When they make a bicycle, they have an alloy, different varieties of metals to make the bike lighter and stronger. It's called an alloy, right? Well, we get these alloys inside our brain and our body. I talked about it in the Brain Health Show. We get these alloys. They're a mix of metals, disturbing our function, giving us a low quality of life, giving us symptoms, and even some conditions. And this is the movement of this is the wrath of the toxic heavy metals, part of the Unforgiving Four. And once you start taking these things out with the foods you need, once you start taking them out with the foods you need, and you start taking the radiation out with the foods you need, radiation that's not even yours, and you end up owning it when it's not even yours. It's pushed on you. Same with the toxic heavy metals. Toxic heavy metals from the past. that's not even yours. It's somebody else's, all the way back. And it's not even yours. Okay? And we get these things, and we have them. And it's time to get them out of our body and out of our system so we can get rid of the unforgiving four. We're going to recap a little bit because we still got one more to go. Still got one more unforgiving four to go. We're going to recap a little bit. We got the viral explosion, all the Epstein-Barrs. I was the first to bring to the table that there's over 60 varieties of Epstein-Barr in 6 different groups. And they date all the way back to the late 1890s. And they've mutated. They've grown in different strains. That's what we're up against. And you are cleaning it out. And you're kicking butt because you're getting rid of those viruses right now. I got people all over the world getting rid of their viruses, getting rid of their Epstein-Barr, and they're getting their life back. And you can too, and you're already doing it. You're already working on it. And so it's the foods that starve out the viral explosion, get rid of it, help clean it out, you name it. We talked about that on the Epstein-Barr webinar recently. We talked about that on the Epstein-Barr show, and that's what we're doing. And then we got the radiation. The radiation going all the way back since World War II. It's falling out of the sky. We're getting rid of that too, out of our bodies. All the different, radiation that was passed on from the forefathers, getting it from old X-rays and everything. We're getting rid of that. And then the toxic heavy metals. We talked about that just now. Let's talk about the number 4 of the unforgiving 4. It's DDT. Would you believe it? DDT. Why would DDT even be possible? Isn't that something from the past? Isn't that over with? Isn't that done? Right? I mean, is DDT, like, you don't hear about it anymore, right? I know. You don't hear about it anymore. And it's DDT. Where is it? What's it doing? First of all, it's not gone. And there's other pesticides and herbicides and fungicides and insecticides that are its cousins that are here every day being sprayed everywhere else. But even DDT itself is not gone. It's not gone. One of the most evilest chemicals of all time, one of them. And it's still being put on food. It's still being sprayed in all kinds of different countries around the world. And it's still in the air. It's still in the air. It's still in our water. It's still in our ocean. It's still everywhere. And it's in our way. The worst part about DDT, it's everlasting, you guys. It's everlasting. It comes from our forefathers. Our family, in the past, our families would eat it, sleep in it, breathe it, bathe in it. We were washed down in it. Parks were washed down, hosed while all of the children were just saturated in it and sudded up in it and rolling around in it. It was sprayed on food. It was considered a nutritional supplement. It was in every garden around everyone's house, and it killed off practically every single bald eagle in this country. Okay? And it's done worse than that. It's done terrible things. And it sits inside people, inside their livers, and it's passed on to generation and generation, and we still have it in us. Hey, look, I'm not gonna cookie cut this and just pretend this is just a cute little positive talk show about how this and that. Like, I know it's getting done out there, and I get it, I respect it, but I'm saying I'm not gonna hold this back from you. I gotta help protect you and help look out for you. And so you can get the DDT out of your liver. You can get it out of there so it's not giving you eczema, psoriasis, so it's not causing problems. So you can get it out of you so it's not breaking down the immune system. And we can do that. And that's what I talk about in the book, especially life-changing foods. So 50 foods. And I mark which ones take out DDT. Which ones take out DDT and eliminate it and pull it out and extract it from our livers. DDT that you don't even get. I mean, DDT that's from the past. That's literally from your grandfather or great-grandfather playing with it in the garden or just getting it all over him because it was sprayed in every neighborhood. Every neighborhood in the streets. They used to wash the streets down with it. Wash the streets down with it. Literally. It didn't matter if you were walking on the street as it happened. It was a movement of destruction of the worst way. It's one of the worst Unforgiving Four, but hidden away. It's in the closet. You go to the doctor's office, you got all these symptoms, no one's going to know. They're going to blame it on your genes. Why not? It's the easy way out. Blame it on you. I mean, hey, look, I'm not blaming you. I'm not blaming you. Okay? Because it's not your fault. It's not your fault. Here's the problem, though. You know, our youth is coming up, and they don't know. They don't know anything about any of this. They have no clue about the viral explosion. They have no clue about how Epstein-Barr works. They have no clue about any of this. And then they go to different, practitioner schools and doctor schools and everything, and they come out of it, and they still don't know. It's nothing bad. Everybody's trying. Everybody's working on it. And then our youth in general, our children grow up, and they just don't know. So we have to look out for everybody and ourselves. It can't just be, it can't be about me. When I was putting out the first book, Medical Medium, someone said to me, "Hey, you're going to be an author now. It's all about you." Okay, hey, it's not about me. It's not about me. What are you saying? It's about everybody else and getting them better. And I stand behind that. I still do. And it's about you guys. That's what it's about. It's not about me. I said, you know what? I'm changing the rules. I said to this person, I'm changing the rules. It's not going to be about me in my life. It's not going to be about me in my life. I'm changing the rules. It's about everybody else, for real. But for real, it's about everyone else. And it's not being cookie-cutted. It's not going to be held back. It's not going to be ignored. I'm going to make sure people get better. Hell or high water, I don't care what it takes. I'm going to make sure people get better. I don't care what it takes. We're going to do it. So DDT is one of the ones that snuck up on us along the way. And we can get it out of our system. And the pesticides today, and its cousins, the pesticides, insecticides, herbicides, rodenticides, fungicides, those are in our way too. And they add into it. And we can pull all that out with the right foods. And give you just a rundown. It's why celery juice is so powerful. The mineral salts in it bind onto these poisons and help remove it out of the liver. I heard the other day, someone else said, because people like to say things to me, and I don't blame them because they're confused. Someone else said to me, hey, why do you like the celery juice so much? I'm getting sick of it. I'm getting sick of this whole celery juice talk you do. I mean, come on. It's getting old. I said, you mean people getting better is getting old? That's what I said to this person. It was a health professional. I said, so people getting better is getting old. Is that what you're saying? And they said, I didn't mean it that way. I go, okay, people are getting better from it. And they go, yeah, true. I go, so is that getting old? They said, no, it's not. They put their head down. They said, no, it's not. And they actually apologized, which took integrity. I said, look, I'm sorry. I'm on board 100% with the celery juice. I'm totally on board with you 100%. I said, yeah, because it's life-changing, like in life-changing foods. I don't care if I'm called the celery juice boy. I don't care if I'm called the celery juice king. I don't care if I'm called the celery juice guy. I don't care if I'm called the guy who hears the voice that loves celery juice. It's going to get you better. It's going to move you forward. It's going to help with the Unforgiving Four. And I list 50 foods that help with the whole Unforgiving Four. 50 foods that eradicate the Unforgiving Four out of your bodies when they're used right, so you start healing. It's the frozen wild blueberries. It's one of the 50. It's the celery. It's one of the 50. And it goes on. And I'm going to make sure you guys get cleaned up and you're healing. It's ginger. It's turmeric. There's two other ones. It's natto leaf. It's another one helping to clean things up and get rid of things. It's the aromatic herbs, the rosemary, the thyme, the sage. Put sage in the guacamole. It's all of these. It's the avocado. Oh, yeah, sure, I've heard this before. Actually, no, you haven't. I talk about what the food does and how you have to use it, how you have to utilize it, how you have to eat it, how it works, and in conjunction with the other foods so you can get rid of the Unforgiving Four. So if you have a symptom or a condition, you need to know which foods out of the 50 foods, and you put them together and you start extracting the Unforgiving Four out of your lives, out of your bodies. We protect our families. We protect our friends. We protect our loved ones. We protect our colleagues. We protect ourselves. We move forward together, and we're healing. We get the mercury out of our system, the arsenic, the lead, the aluminum, the cadmium, the copper. We get it out of our system. By the way, the right kind of zinc doesn't lower your good copper. Just know that. The right kind of zinc doesn't lower your good copper. On my supplements page, and I don't sell the supplements, they're on my supplements page at medicalmedium.com. You can see the list of all the supplements that Spirit deems worthy or Spirit deems safe or Spirit deems correct. So you can pick out the ones that you know you need. And one of them is the right kind of zinc. Till this day, even the most advanced book coming out on thyroid or anything else, coming out literally this year, that's just coming out this year and early next year, still doesn't even know about the real zinc yet, the one that helps stop the viral explosion, the Epstein-Barrs. Still doesn't even know the right zinc yet. So you have to understand, it's about watching your back for real and protecting you, making sure we're getting you better and getting you moved forward. So seaweeds, the Atlantic coast seaweeds. I like the main Atlantic coast sea vegetables. And so, here's another thing too. You can't worry about what's in a seaweed, especially the Maine coast seaweeds, because there's not enough of the problems in it. There's not enough heavy metals in the seaweed. In fact, what happens is when you eat the seaweed, like the dulse, it removes more heavy metal. In fact, any trace of ocean metal that could be in a seaweed like dulse stays in dulse, never leaves it until it leaves your body. In fact, what happens is a miracle happens. The seaweed absorbs more and more of it out of your own body, pulls it all in one group out of the body. In case someone's worried, another question that came up actually was, how does seaweed work if it's in our ocean? Well, I'll tell you how it works. It holds on to what was in it, and then it takes out double, triple, quadruple more right out of the body. And we pull the heavy metals out of our body. So we got that. We got the seaweeds. We got, and I talk about that in life-changing foods too. That's another way of getting rid of things. Spirulina, make sure you're taking your spirulina. That pulls out toxic heavy metals. It helps pull out radiation, and it does help pull out a little bit of DDT, get the Hawaiian spirulina. That's another incredible tool. But when you go through everything, you're going to see all the different things, all the different foods and herbs and other information to help get rid of the Unforgiving Four. I woke up this morning and I said to Spirit, I'm still in the game. I'm still here. And I'm not giving up until everybody has what they need, until we do 1 million shows and do what we got to do and get the information in books. Because I want you guys better. And I want you guys to protect your family and your loved ones. And I woke up this morning and I said to Spirit, I'm in the game. I'm not backing down. I'm not leaving. I'm staying in it. Let's get everybody better. I stand behind you. I love you. Remember, you didn't create your illness. You're a good person. Okay, you didn't manifest your illness. These illnesses are here because of these Unforgiving Four. I stand behind you. I love you. I believe in you. Be easy on yourself. Have compassion on yourself. You take care. Talk to you next time. Bye.